go to my Van Dyke brown, which you can use any dark brown. I think you could probably use like a denim color to do the hat and clothing also, but I'm going to use this because I actually considered that. We are going to dry brush. We may come back 2 times to go over this, but what we want is very little paint. And I'm actually going to turn this. I hope you don't mind. It's a little bit easier to make the arch with it turned. I'm saying a lot today. So I'm going to use the skinny part of my brush. I'm going across the top. Do not outline everything in one at one time. Only outline where you're working so you can blend it out. So I'm going to start like up here. I want it a little bit brighter towards the top. I'll come back and I'll layer that up with dry brushing, okay? We're going to make long strokes. Every single stroke we make, we're lifting off, lifting off, lifting off, okay? You only press hard when you know the paint's just about off your paintbrush. And we're going to let this canvas do some of the work for us, okay? So again, I'm going to go over this one more time with my white because I want it a little bit brighter towards the top. I'm lifting off as I come down. It's okay with that white there. I'm going to blend that out. Very little paint, okay? We are going to make it a little bit brighter towards the center and a little bit darker towards the sides. And that's going to give your eye the impression that it is curved, okay? And we'll come back and brighten the center too. But even when you have to come down the sides and you have to make like a straight line down like that, you always want to bring it back to coming this way and going across, okay? And pulling across here. So don't keep all your strokes this way. Make sure you blend it out and then you start pulling across, okay? So I'm going to pull this. And it's kind of like arched just a little bit. I'm following the curve of the hat, okay? So I feel like I need to go in here. Don't use a lot of paint. If you're moving a lot of paint around, you're using too much. I'd rather see you like build it up. This is called dry brushing. Again, you have to use a little bit of white to start with because you are on a black canvas, all right? And so I'm starting the sides, lighter touch on the sides for the fact that we want some of that black to show through. And then we'll build up the center more on the hat to build up the brightness. It also isn't going to look right until we put our script liner lines on at the end and we make it like, we make all those nice, fine, bright edges. And that's what will really make it pop, okay? So I'm pulling and I'm lifting off. If you're watching, every stroke I make at the end of it, I'm lifting up and off, okay? A lot of times we come back when we're making the gnomes and we put another layer of paint on, brightening where we need to, lifting off where we want it to be dark. Okay, so I'm just going to pull this across. And then I can always flip it the opposite way, just pull up from the other side, or we can pull up and out, okay? So I'm going to start in the middle again. Very light touch when you're putting it down, so you don't have a start and stop mark, okay? It's light touch when you're putting it down, and now light touch when you're pulling and lifting off. But when I feel like I have hardly any paint on my brush is when I can start pressing harder like this and moving a little bit quicker, okay? So I'm going to come down here close to this buckle, a little brighter. This is all about dry brushing. And then what I'll do is I'll start pulling from the other side and pull into this. And then we'll come back and we'll highlight where we need to. Like I'll highlight a little bit more towards the top and then pulling down, okay? Every time I like paint something a brown, it's so funny. In my 20s, which was a long time ago, my husband, I used to wear this brown suit all the time. And I didn't know he didn't like it. And then one day he was like, you know, I had worn it for like 2 years probably. And then one day he was like, you know, brown's my least favorite color. And he's so nice, he wouldn't want to say anything. And he was like, and if you're going to get rid of anything, it would be that brown suit. It was like a dark brown suit, and I loved it. And I was like, yeah, sorry. I'm keeping it, but I still remember that. We laugh about it to this day because he so didn't want to tell me that it took him like forever, you know. He has some adversity to brown. I don't know. He's probably listening to me talking. Okay, so I'm just pulling this across, lifting off, lifting off. So like if I didn't lift off right here, I'd have a stop mark right where I was, you know, pulling through there. And those stop marks, it's like a pain to try to blend it out, okay? If your paint's not going far at all, you can always put a tiny bit of water in this, but not much, okay? So see when I have to go up and down here, I'm still going to go back and I'm going to pull it across. And then we're going to go back and we're going to brighten where we need to brighten, okay? So very light touch on the sides because I don't want too much paint there. Lifting off and pulling over, okay? I feel like I need a tiny bit of water right in this area because it's a little like, we call it canvasy. Okay. And then what I'm going to do, light's hitting that weird. You're seeing that really weird. I can tell. This time of day when the sun's out, our lights are on for this. It's a little off, like weird looking. So I'm going to go across here in the middle. It'll look better once it's dry. It's like when it's wet, you see it like that. I'm going to go across the middle. I'm going to make long strokes. 1 second. I touch the dark brown again. I want this brighter up here because I would feel like the light is hitting this. I might have to go a couple times since I hit that dark brown. And then you're going to lift off as you come to the sides. Lift off, lift off, lift off. Okay. And we're going to do this down the middle. I told Lindsay Lou today, she laughed really hard. I was like, her neck is stuck. We've been on the computer so much for with the new site stuff and everything, especially her. And I'm going to come back this way, guys. And she's like all locked up. And she was like, I'm going to take a really hot shower before I, you know, get back to work. And I said, you should like come over and get in the jacuzzi. And I was like, actually, I think we should start having our meetings in the jacuzzi. We would feel much better. Too funny. We like to do all the fun stuff. I have a tiny bit of water in this, guys, and I'm lifting off as I'm coming to the sides. Tiny bit of water. But there is a lot of back end stuff you got to get done. So I'm making this a little brighter, and I'm going to come one more time towards the top. And key to this, guys, is not stopping at the same point every time. Because if I stopped at the same point, I'd have like a rectangle in here, and I definitely don't want that. We don't want a rectangle. So I'm lifting off at different points, not the same point. Like here, I'm going out like a little further. But I do kind of want it to go a little wider to thinner. Okay. And then I'm going to come back to the top one more time. I'm going to go here. I'm going to take actual, like a little bit of white. A little bit more white. Skinny part right here. Slow and steady. Okay, and then I'm going to brighten this as I come down just a little bit more. Okay. I want to make it look like, you know, maybe, I don't know if we should make this a moonlit painting or not, but we need to make it look like there's a little bit of light hitting the top of his hat. I feel like I gotta get in that little edge there. And I may even, like, after we're done with like his shirt and his pants, I might even come and highlight just even a little bit more. And I'm going to take a little bit of white and go like right above where this buckle is. And I feel like the light would be hitting there. So made a little bit of a line, and then I'm going to blend that out, okay? Blend it out, blend it out. So it's got to be just a little bit of paint. Don't let it dry, and blend it out, okay? And then what we're going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of brown while I'm right here. And I'm going to go on the inside brim of this hat right here. I'm going to lift off as I come closer to his hair area right here. Let some of the black show through, okay? I'm going to do that on the other side, like right in this area right here. So I'm going to grab a little bit of brown, a little bit of white, and I'm going to go like right inside here. This is the inside part of the hat right here, okay? Lifting off as I come like towards the back. I might wipe a little bit out of the center there, okay? And then I'm going to catch the edge with a little bit of white, all right? It's a little too much white. And I'm going to go like right on the edge. Using the skinny part of the brush, and then I'm going to bring it around, okay? We'll brighten this with the script liner later too. Like we'll go around his nose and everything. So here's the trick with these gnome paintings, guys. On the inside where there's a pencil line, you're gonna leave a little bit of black. If you lose it, we'll put it back in.